What's up, my dudes? My name is Sister Turley, and this is the track review of the XFR 2016 Outdoor Motocross Training. So, I remember you dudes from way back in the day. If any of you guys don't know, I actually made a track for these guys. These are one of my very first track requests like a year and a half ago when I first started doing it, and my track completely sucked because I was a total beginner at it, but I still remember you guys. I remember your logo with the little eagle, having to put it on some decal banners on the side of the custom track. So that's awesome, man. That brings me back to those old school days where I used to make a ton of custom tracks, and I'm gonna try to do a video where I go back and react to a lot of my older videos on some of my custom tracks and stuff. But don't worry guys, I'm still working on custom tracks. I actually have 2 or 3 right now that are, I would say, 70 to 80% finished. I just got to go in there and touch them up and finish them up, and oh my god, what a hook that was right there. My goodness, man. My back end was about to flip completely over. So, but yeah, I just wanted to let a lot of you guys know, thinking, what the heck, this dude used to make custom tracks, what is he doing? Only doing track reviews now. But I'm telling you, I'm still doing custom track stuff, and ideas are always flowing through my mind. So even though I may not be actually making a custom track, I'm still got ideas and different things that I could make going through my mind and figuring out, oh, that would work, or nah, that probably couldn't work, or whatever. So I'm always constantly working on custom tracks, even though it might not seem like I am. So, but I do have a lot that are really close to being ready to be actually released, so that will be coming soon. But anyways, let's get to the track here. So, in pretty fun, awesome, sandy top vibe track with some mellow, medium-sized ruts. It's actually pretty good for training on this track because it's not too easy and it's not too hard either. So it's just right in that middle era kind of difficulty going on. So I like when tracks are like this because it's able to be rode on by a wide variety of riders. It's not just like, oh, you got to be pro to ride on this track, or oh, this is all for beginners right here. It's for everybody. So it's a really good training type compound, and that's what it's meant to be. So it does have a very tricky sandy feeling, but it looks like sand. So I'm not saying the sand is a bad thing or anything like that. I'm just saying the sand itself is pretty tricky on this track, so you do have to kind of get used to it. It's not like a real deep sand that just holds you up really good. It's definitely really tricky, especially on some of these more flat type corners. You really got to be patient and slow down in the corner and try to make sure your front end stays up and doesn't just jackknife on you and go right down in the ground, because it'll really try to do that on you on this track. So as far as all the off track, pretty basic plains, woodland, nice little water ponds here and there, and some little mountains in the background. Nothing crazy special, but the on track is what makes this track right here, okay? You know, most of the time you'll either have the off track that'll make the track or the on track that makes the track, and either way they can be pretty cool, but I think that the strong suit of this track is definitely the on track part of it. The off track looks okay. It looks like a standard, just kind of local track kind of feeling, especially on states that are more so just standard woodland type states. But yeah, just fun, no doubt. Definitely 2-3 ruts in the corners, so that's pretty good. And it's got some more of those longer, just flow all the way around the corner kind of ruts on this track too, which is not very standard, but it's really good to practice on, because that's one of the more harder things to do, is try to stay in a rut that's really long, far ways around the corner. So that's pretty cool. Let me get this in third person right here. Okay, so but yeah, man, I've known these XFR dudes for a long time. Haven't talked to any of them in probably decades. So now it's been like a year and a half. But yeah, it's just crazy when I think back to some of the people I used to make tracks for way back in the day, and just going back to some of my old tracks. It's just, man, that really takes me back. Like, it's a nostalgic thing when I go back and look at Oasis Motocross, or my very first Hawaii Supercross track, or my Moon Supercross track. Man, those take me back. Even Mars Motocross, I think it was, way back in the day. Man, dude, like, if you've known me since those days, wow, dude, like, hats off to you, bro. That's crazy, because that's when I first started. Like, that's what got me started on YouTube, and that's what got me started. That was really the whole reason I made a YouTube channel, was like, hey, I'm making all these custom tracks, and I really want to be able to show people and explain what I did on the custom tracks and what I was doing. And that's really where the Spencer Turley whole YouTube channel kind of came from. And then it branched off into track reviews, and then branched off into everything else, my crazy philosophical talks about life and space and universe and people and how the brain thinks and all that crap. So it all started with me making custom tracks, though. That's what I came from. So a lot of people may not understand that, but yeah, man, definitely always go back and look at some of those, because there's still a lot of fun ones out there, even though it was in my really early days of track making, and they're pretty beginner feeling, like a beginner track maker made them, because I was a beginner at that time. There's still a lot of fun to ride on, and a lot of them out there, man, they're very unique and just very different than your average, everyday, ordinary motocross tracks. So, and I don't put them on the forums or anywhere else. You can only get my custom tracks from seeing them on my YouTube channel. If there's a link in the description, that's the only place you can get my custom tracks. So in a way, it sort of limits how big my custom tracks can get and how many people can see them. But at the same time, it's almost like a perk to being a subscriber to me. I always thought of it that way. Like, if you subscribe to me and I upload one of my brand new tracks that I just made, then you get that track right away, instead of just being, oh, everybody gets it and no matter who you are and whatever. It was always just like a perk I gave to my subscribers by only keeping my custom tracks being actually released on my YouTube channel on the video for the track. So that's pretty cool, man. It's kind of going back to some of the old school days here, but yeah, this track right here is pretty fun. Got some roughness here and there, and I know I say that, and that it's so easy to start saying the same stuff on track reviews, and I know some of you guys out there are trying to kind of say some things like, oh, kind of making fun of track reviewers and stuff like that. And I could see kind of where you're coming from, because a lot of times you do kind of get to saying the same thing, especially if you talk about every specific little jump and section on the track, because it's like every video you're just saying, oh, that rut's cool, and oh, that's a cool jump over there, and that's a cool double, and oh yeah, that's a cool downhill jump. Oh, nice elevation, bro. Oh yeah, man. Oh yeah, love it. Nice roughness, but not too rough. Oh, nope, but the whoops are cool and everything. Trust me, I know I know it all. I know everything a track reviewer can say, and I know all the things that sound repetitive. But for me, in my track reviews, I always try to add something else in there. I always end up talking about something completely different, or add something more to it than just talking about the track. So I feel like that's a pretty big thing that I do in my track reviews that not a whole lot of other people do out there. Most people just strictly talk about the track and that's all they do, but most of the time I'll go off on some crazy subject about something crazy that you never even thought existed, and then your mind's blown, and heck, you don't even think about what I was talking about on the track. But either way, it was still a cool video, and it's just really what it is I use the track in the background as just gameplay, and I talk about the track a little, and then I talk about something else a little. So that's more what I do with track reviews, more so than just specifically talk about the track. And that is a crazy huck it. That's one of the funnest jumps I've hit on any track in a while. I love huge huck it jumps, and the whole trick to it, let me actually get in this other view real quick. I'll show you guys the whole trick to that if you're having trouble actually launching it to the point that I was. I did actually crash on it right there, so let me back this up all the way a lap back if I can, so I can show you this properly. Okay, let's just try to mash that B button so we can back it up a little bit here. But yeah, I mean, the trees and everything, very basic, very just mellow, chill, just your everyday, ordinary. I wouldn't really even call this a woodland biome. I would almost call this more of a plains biome, or a kind of a mountain plains, something like that sort of biome going on. So, okay, there I am right there. Okay, so with this, what you're doing is you're actually launching this sucker. Let me see how far it is. So you're launching this. Oh my gosh, you really don't get that much air. It's just the fact that it's a long distance for the amount of jump face you got going on there. I know it may not seem like it is, but it really is. Let me back this up a little bit. So you hit that, you jump off that. Man, that looks so much smaller than it feels like. I don't know why it looks so much smaller. Sometimes jumps look 3 times as big as they feel, and sometimes they look way smaller than they feel. So I don't know, but let me get it in first person. It'll seem a little bigger. So check this out right here. So you hit it just wide open right here, and you launch all the way over. See how much bigger that feels? I don't know. Maybe it's just one of those long jumps, not really like a skied out airtime kind of jump. But the whole trick to this, you want to hit it on the right side, because that's where you actually get the lip. You can see kind of how there's a lip on the right side, not so much on the left side. So make sure you're on this right side, and make sure you seat bounce it right at the very end, and that'll give you the pop. to actually get all the way over to that certain roller right there. So then you got to be careful right here because it's got all those angled ruts in that corner. But yeah, man, pretty cool track overall. Love some of these sections, and definitely a few different unique sections, kind of like this one right here. I'm not sure if you can launch this all the way over to the downhill right there. I was kind of trying to do it, but that would be pretty insane, man. So yeah, man, fun track, no doubt. Then it goes into this really, really sandy feeling. I don't know. The whole track has a sand feel to it, but I guess this is like the deep sand part of it or something, because it has a different look and a different feel to it. So yeah, it's got some definitely fun, long straightaway sections, really good for more of those fast type motocross tracks. Good practice for that. But yeah, I'm going to give this track I'm going to give it an 8 overall, and I'm going to say the difficulty is, I'm going to say, man, I don't know. I guess the difficulty would be about that medium range. So anyways, thanks for watching the video. Later, dudes.